starts after we open. Okay, now we're good to go, Your Honor.
All right. Welcome everybody to our February 22nd meeting of the Municipal Housing Agency Governing Board. Let's call our meeting to order, and I'll ask the clerk to please take the roll of our board members, please.
County,
Here.
Boson,
Here.
Voss,
Yes, here.
Gray, doesn't look like Gray's here yet. Westergaard,
Here.
Mandelbaum,
Here.
Gatto.
Here.
Your Honor, that's 6. We have a quorum.
All right. Item 2 is approving the agenda as presented and or as amended. Could we have a motion?
I'll move item 2.
You okay with a voice vote? All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposition? Speak now. Hearing none, the item passes. Item 3 is setting the date of hearing on items regarding the budget for March 8th of 21. A is on the amendments to the annual budget for the current fiscal year ending June 30 of 2021, and B will be on the proposed budget for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2022.
I'll move item 3, A and B, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Item 3A and B have been moved. Any comment, board? Hearing none. Would you poll the board, please?
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 6 yes, motion carries.
All right, item 4 is approving the settlement of a U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development complaint and authorizing DMMHA Executive Director to execute the conciliation agreement. Any questions?
If not, I'll move item 4.
Okay, item 4 has been moved. Poll the board, please.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 6 yes, motion carries.
All right, item 5 is authorizing the city manager to release mortgage and related security instruments for Luke and Bethany R. Powers pursuant to the 5H Affordable Housing Ownership Program, Board Communication number 21-073. Any comments or questions, board? If not, could we have a motion?
I'll move item 5.
Okay, item 5 has been moved. Would you poll the board, please?
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 6 yes, motion carries.
All right. That brings us to the end of a short agenda. And unless anybody has anything else, could we have a motion to adjourn?
Move.
It's been moved. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposition? Thank you. Our meeting of Municipal Housing Agency Governing Board is adjourned.
Okay, this is Linda, and I need to switch iPads for the meeting because this one is giving me problems. But when I go to my other iPad to sign in, it won't let me. It makes me register, and then it looks like I'm just a participant. Can you resend me a link or something so I can just get right in?
Yes, we'll do that.
Thank you. I don't know what
Linda, I
to,
think you could just drop off of the one and then come back in on the other one.
I think I'm gonna try that. So I'm gonna leave.
Yes. Okay, we'll watch for you.
Do we know if Bill could get in or if there was a problem with his connection?
We're working on that to find out.
All right, terrific. Thanks.
Okay, Westergaard's back. There you go.
We've got a proclamation that I'm going to read here in just a minute, but I think we'll wait, Kate, about 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Just so everybody knows, the United States has surpassed 500,000 COVID-19 deaths today.
I saw that on the news.
It's more than equivalent to the full city of Kansas City, by the way. I'm sure others would have liked to bring that.
Joshua, did you have a question?
I was just going to say Cameron Middlebrooks should be speaking for this. He should be logging in shortly.
Shortly. Okay, thank you. I was watching for him.
Okay.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our February 22nd Des Moines City Council meeting. Before we get started this evening, I've got a proclamation that I would like to read. But before I do so, we've got Cameron Middlebrooks, who's the chair of our Civil and Human Rights Commission, and I'd like to let him make a couple of remarks. Cameron, are you there?
Yes, thank you, Mayor County. Appreciate you giving me this opportunity for today's important proclamation celebrating Black History Month. As the chair of the Civil and Human Rights Commission, obviously part of our mission and our vision to make this city as equitable and more equitable every single day. We appreciate the support that we have from our residents, our volunteers, our staff within the department and outside of the department who help us go down this path. As many of you all know, we started the Bridging the Gap process several years ago that was not only championed by the mayor, but many of our processes and policies are already in process of being implemented if they have not done so already. But we truly look forward to working with our residents, our council members, and our staff members to ensure that Des Moines is a leader in our state when it comes to equitable services. And that we continue to strive to be greater as we reimagine what safety and justice in communities look like. So again, thank you to Mayor County and the entire council for giving us this opportunity and for this proclamation today.
All right, thanks, Cam. Our proclamation reads as follows. During Black History Month, Des Moines recognizes and celebrates the many achievements and contributions made by African Americans to our economic, cultural, spiritual, and political progress, such as local civil rights trailblazers, Edna Griffin, and others. And whereas Black History Month started in 1926 as Negro History Week by Carter G. Woodson, and then expanding into Black History Month in 1976. And whereas the first African Americans arrived in Des Moines in 1843, and by 1880, 672 African American people resided in Polk County, with most living in Des Moines. And whereas the first and only African American World War I officer candidates arrived at Fort Des Moines in 1917 to train and to fight. And whereas the observance of Black History Month calls our nation's attention to the contributions of all Americans and our continued need to battle systemic racism and build a society that lives up to its democratic ideals. And whereas Des Moines honors the history and contributions of African Americans in our country, now I, the mayor of the city of Des Moines, on behalf of our city council, do hereby proclaim the month of February 2021 as Black History Month, and encourage everyone to join in this observance, recognizing African Americans past and present in our community. Thank you. We will start our council meeting in just a moment. I guess we'll jump right into it now. Let's call our meeting to order, and I'll ask the clerk to please take roll.
County,
Here.
Boson,
Here.
Boss,
Here.
Gray,
Here.
Westergaard,
Here.
Mandelbaum,
Here.
Gatto.
Here.
Your Honor, we have a quorum.
All right, item 2 is approving the agenda as presented and or as amended. I'll note at the moment, the consent agenda, item 17 has been withdrawn. It was setting a date of hearing for the 2019 action plan for the HUD. On the regular agenda, items 49 has been amended, and that hearing is to continue the hearing on the request by Wesley Retirement Services. So those who were maybe thinking of making comment on those items, they will not be heard this evening. So with that, if we could have a motion for the agenda.
Your Honor, I sent Kay this morning, item 4D, I won't be voting on, I have a conflict. And item 38, I would be a no.
Okay,
And I will move.
We'll do that as soon as we get the consent item. So thank you, Joe, for giving us an update. Did you give us a motion?
Yeah, I'll move item 2.
Okay, item 2, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposition? Hearing none, the agenda is approved. Item 3 is approving the consent agenda tonight. Those are items 3 through 38. Item 4D, Councilmember Gatto has registered a conflict. Item 5, I vote no. Item 34, Councilmember Gray wishes to speak. Item 38, Councilmembers Gatto and Westergaard vote no. Are there any others? Seeing none, we'll ask our attendees. Looks like we have one.
Hi, dear Shoemaker, pronouns she, her. I would like you guys to pull number 14, approving tax abatement applications. It looks like you guys are approving tax abatement for a member of the city staff, for Nick Shaw, the finance director. And I just want a clarification on if that's a conflict of interest. I'd also like clarification on why the urban revitalization plan includes tax abatement for multi-million-dollar projects, $500,000 homes, things like that. So I'd love for you guys to discuss that.
Okay.
Your Honor, I can move item 3, but I think legal needs to give clarification about Nick's tax abatement. I don't think it's a conflict. He's not voting on anything. But maybe Mr. Lester can just give us a brief update on that.
Okay, and I see Adam's hand up. Adam?
Yep. I would like 34 pulled and discussed. It's about having events in Beaverdale with We Can Build It LC, which is a group run by Jeff, I believe Jeff Young, who has had a lot of fraud in the past with the city. And I don't think that's somebody we should be trusting to run events right now in the middle of a pandemic.
All right. Thank you. All right, council, we have.
You should ask whether anyone wants to make a motion on either of those two requests.
Would anyone like to make a motion on either? It sounds like Joel wants to make one.
On either of the two requests that they have.
I just moved item 3, but Mr. Lester, can you just give a brief about Nick's conflict, whether he does or he doesn't? He's not voting on the item, so I'm not sure that he does, but go ahead.
He's not voting on the item. Department heads are required by city code to live inside the boundaries of the city. And as such, the council has made tax abatement available to them as it would be to any other person similarly situated. And that's pretty universal.
Yep. Thank you. I'll move item 3.
Okay, those are the only two that were asked except for the ones that we're going to have speak. So item 3 has been moved. Would you poll the council, please?
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
yes,
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right. Councilmember Gray asked to speak on item 34. Item 34 is a request from We Can Build It LC to allow the Beaverdale Farmers Market and other special events in accordance with the Franklin Junior High School PUD conceptual plan for property located at 4801 Franklin Avenue. Council communication number 21-083. Bill.
Thank you, Mayor. This Sue-Ann had gotten to me earlier last week, and there actually are 2 options to consider here. And I'm going to move option 1. Last year, they had the farmers market there. It was run by the farmers market. It just took place on 48th and Franklin, and that seemed to go okay. In looking at the other special events, that would be option 2. None of the neighbors are in favor of it. It's a bad thing to try and populate a lot of people around with a lot of special events with the COVID situation still within our city. So they did a good job at the farmers market. I think that's what we should limit it to. As a matter of fact, they shouldn't have any outdoor gatherings, but this one seemed to work out good, at least for the time being. So I'm going to move item 34, utilizing option 1.
All right, any discussion, council? Hearing none, poll the council, please.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
yes,
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right. That completes our consent agenda. It takes us to item 39. 39 is amending chapter 114 of the municipal code regarding traffic regulation changes as follows. Council communication number 21-085. A is a code modification related to the vacation of 25th Street between Clark and Forest Avenue. B is a code modification related to the Franklin Avenue resurfacing from Beaver Avenue to Merle Hay Road project. And C is a code modification related to the Brook Landing Plat 2 development. Any comments, council?
Mayor, if there's no comments, a couple of these are right here in Ward 1, so I will be happy to move item 39A, B, and C.
All right. 39A, B, and C has been moved. Would you poll the council, please?
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
yes,
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
Right. Item 40 is a city manager recommendation. This is to receive and file a report regarding expenditures for goods and services pursuant to the city manager's declaration of an operating emergency dated January 7, 2021 and ending on February 15th, 2021, council communication number 21-072. Scott, you want to make a quick comment here?
So the communication explains the details, but essentially we had notification that the memory space for the videos that were being recorded for police use was running out quickly. So we needed to quickly purchase additional capacity and look to mitigate the issue through removing older files. So we were successful in both attempts in reducing the existing amount of use and expanding that with the quick purchase that was completed just a couple weeks ago. So this is standard to bring this back so that the council's aware that the emergency was for this one instance and this one instance only, and it's been closed. I can take any questions.
Council, any quick questions?
I'll move item 40.
All right, item 40 has been moved. Would you poll the council, please?
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Boss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right. Next, we're going to have the communications and reports, and these we have a number of people requested to speak. For all those people that are looking to speak this evening under our public speaking item on the agenda, we'll only be calling on those who have registered to speak, as has been our practice. Because of the number of speakers this evening, each speaker is going to receive 2 minutes and 18 seconds to make their comments. So please keep your own time, because at the end of the 2 minutes and 18 seconds, the clerk's going to announce time and the speaker's mic will be closed and we'll move immediately to the next speaker. We want to hear from all of our citizens. We encourage citizens to be respectful of others' viewpoints that may be different from your own. While you may certainly disagree with that viewpoint, I want to remind everyone that council's rules provide that any comments that are slanderous could result in that speaker, or will result in that speaker being barred from further comment. As the presiding officer, I'll determine whether comments are slanderous or not. So fair warning, arguing with me about those determinations won't be permitted. And in doing so, that will be considered disruptive, and we're going to result in that individual being barred from further comment. But at any rate, with that direction, let's open it up with Adam Callanan. Adam, 2 minutes and 18 seconds. The floor is yours.
Hello, my name is Adam Callanan. I use he, him pronouns. I want to start by encouraging county and council to respect other people's viewpoints and not be different from their own. Just want to list that first. I also want to talk about, on that subject, how the city has made it harder for the public to comment. We keep having agenda changes last minute. And if you're like me and you look at the agendas over the weekend and then suddenly they're changed without announcement at the meeting, that's a problem. So I don't know how that can be fixed if we just have some sort of notice on that. I don't think that's going to happen, but would be nice. Also, the fact that council is still getting a lot of our names wrong, not mine. Adam's a pretty normal white sounding name, but yeah, we get a lot of other names wrong still. So if council could please work on that, that would help to make a more respectful environment, like Mayor County just asked us to be a part of. Yeah, and some of that is like writing names wrong, and other things are like pronouncing names wrong. So that would be something that council can take on to try to make this a more respectful environment. Also want to talk about how the consent agenda that just passed, I'm glad that Gatto was willing to recuse himself from an item that involved Baradas, but we did have county had a conflict of interest on item 30. I didn't bring it up because I can only talk on one item per council rules. But yeah, number 30 was a project that Paul County, relative to Frank County, is on, that the city is for some reason giving over $2 million to in TIF funds. Yeah, also then want to talk about what constitutes an emergency. Item 40 that we just heard about, it's considered an emergency when, again, cops need more money. We saw it last year whenever we gave cops 100K. We saw it again. We called an emergency meeting whenever we needed to rush the Drake Stadium. We called an emergency meeting to buy a 40 million parking garage. We never called an emergency, any kind of emergency, like on this scale for the ratio, for the pandemic in general, seeing like any type of funds like this being diverted. And also not weeks ago, whenever a houseless man died and the community had to come around and raise funds to house these people and make sure that more people did not, unfortunately, die in that cold weather. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about what does and doesn't count as an emergency to council. And that's all. Thank you.
Fine, thank you.
Vanessa. Is Vanessa on? I'm not seeing her.
Hello.
She's on.
Okay, Vanessa, floor is yours.
Hi, my name is Vanessa Moines. I use she, her pronouns. I would like to echo something that Adam said in regard to the fact that the city considers DMPD running out of memory space an emergency, but an individual, an actual human being passing away due to freezing is not an emergency. Not to mention last year, we lost 20 people due to the freezing temperatures from the polar vortex. So the fact that the city wasn't prepared to handle that this year is disgusting to me. This council, moving on to my next point, this council doesn't function properly the way it's set up right now. I've been listening to these meetings and trying to participate for, I would say, almost a year now. And I still don't understand when is it a good time to discuss with all of you my concerns. You never want to hear it. It's not germane during these meetings. I'm speaking now, but I feel like it falls on deaf ears. I don't get any response from any of you. You just say next speaker. So it's not satisfying. And I still don't feel like I'm being heard. So y'all need to come up with a better way to engage with your community, because right now, you're not engaging with us. You're literally sitting together, just the few of you, and making decisions for the entire city based on your own opinions and your own preferences and what you think is right and wrong. But you guys don't know. And you've proved that to us over and over again. Bill Gray, especially, what do you actually do? You're my ward member and you don't ever return my phone calls or my emails or my letters. So I don't even know what you stand for or what you actually do for this council. And I really hope Indira replaces you. That's all.
Shirley Evans. Shirley, can you unmute yourself? Shirley, can you unmute yourself? Let's move on to Bridget and come back if Shirley can get herself unmuted. Bridget? Can you unmute yourself? There you go.
Hi, my name is Bridget Peterson. My pronouns are she, hers. And I'm just going to open by saying I think it is really rich that you would dedicate the first portion of today's meeting to declaring Black History Month in Des Moines and give a little speech about how we should be honoring and listening to not only the activists like Edna Griffin who came before, but the activists who exist today and who use Edna Griffin's name for good. And all of those activists, all of the Black activists that you think it's so important to listen to are on these meetings. There are activists on these meetings. We are telling you what concerns us and you are not listening to us. So I think it's pretty hilarious that you would declare a Black History Month when you don't even
Bridget, you're breaking up.
How long now?
We can hear you now.
Indira 2021, I yield the rest of my time.
Okay, Shirley, can you unmute yourself now?
Shirley, you need to unmute yourself. Are you on a phone? You can hit *9 or is it *9 or *6? Yeah, *6 to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Bear with me. I've been listening to the meetings, but I've never spoke. So I'll try to make sense. I'm worried and have been worried, and this is why I want to speak about defunding the police. I feel like in the cities that have done that, the crime rates are up. And right now, Des Moines is second in the safest cities to live in, and I would like to keep it that way. And I think the city council is doing everything in their power to help us get there. I just worry about how much time we're putting into other things when we could be speaking about the most important thing, our police department. So if we could talk about that a little bit more, I think it would help. And again, you're doing a very good job, and as is the police department. And I appreciate you letting me speak. Thank you.
KT. There you go.
Okay. All right. So, I'm KT Menke. I use they, them pronouns. Before I get started really quickly, I just want to say that I appreciate the lady that just spoke. I also would like to put a shout out to those other than the police that have been keeping the city safe, those in the community mutual aid programs out there that have been protecting the people. That is in due part to you who have been out in the community. It is because of you that the city has been safe. I truly believe that, not because of the city council. I just really need to echo that big time. Anyway, Des Moines City Council, you suddenly have become very vague in sharing information with your constituents in your agenda. Need you all be reminded that it is your constituents who have voted you into your positions that each of you hold. Also, with such role, you are in control of making decisions that impact your constituents' lives, from money made by your constituents or the land that they live on, the jobs that they hold, or even involving writing violent police mindset, to which you have yet to address to this day, even though your constituents have come to you time and time again, begging you to please listen to them and take this serious. Instead, you pull back and become more vague and throw more money out to each other. A good example of this is the fact that we were not told how much time we were going to be allowed to talk today, or on item 30, the fact that Paul County, a relative of yours, Frank, will be benefiting from the money once again that is given if item 30 is put through. So those are just one examples given where this council is exploiting to benefit and fit its own mold. Time and time again, we're asking for transparency. What we need is more affordable housing. A crisis or an emergency would be the DMPD crisis. We need more community engagement from you. There's more need for financial transparency, honesty on it, food sustainability, community mutual aid.
Time.
All right, Chelsea. Chelsea, are you on? There you are. Can you unmute you? There you go.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Chelsea Chisholm Vargas. My pronouns are she, her, ella. I like to begin my comments by acknowledging on May 31st of 2020, the Des Moines Police Department violently pepper sprayed, shot rubber bullets, as well as tear gas at children and teenagers, predominantly Black teenagers in the Merle Hay neighborhood. And we still have not heard a single word from anyone on the council regarding this absolute atrocity in our city. I do know I sent video footage directly to you, Mayor County, and still have not heard any word back. I would love if someone would speak out against the violence that the Des Moines Police Department has caused on our children. It's not just that incident as well. Sergeant Greg Wessels is known to have body slammed a Black teenage girl at the bus stop downtown, in which the young girl's family was awarded $75,000 due to a lawsuit, a settlement perhaps, from the city of Des Moines. I know Greg Wessels has also got us up to $1 million in lawsuit settlements because of his absolute just madness. I'll also add that I believe their name was Sergeant, but Officer Rodney Allen Briggs with the Des Moines Police Department is currently on paid leave. They're being charged for just doing illegal things on the job, and these are cops. So when we talk about crime in the city, we need to be acknowledging the Des Moines Police Department are causing crime in the city. Also, I've heard that you folks are trying to get more data for the cameras, and I'm sorry, I just have to laugh at that because even when we have needed this camera evidence, this footage evidence to support people like Andrea, the journalist from the Des Moines Register who was illegally arrested and is still facing charges, she had to fight to get her footage just to find out there was no footage. So even when we do want footage, we have to fight to get it, we have to pay for it. And even when these cops are doing illegal things on camera, nothing happens. So I'm curious, what is the point of needing to get more footage? What is the point of promoting these officers like Sergeant Greg Wessels? What is the point of putting officers like Rodney Briggs on paid leave when they're doing illegal things to try to support their girlfriend in their own criminal case? So I just ask.
All right. We're going to take a break from our speakers for a minute. It is 5:01. We need to begin our hearings. Quickly, again, go over some of the rules, for the hearings tonight. We've got several zoning items consisting of those items between 42 and 50. And we also have a vacation hearing and some other items. So as a reminder, for the zoning items only, which are items 42 to 50, we're going to hear from the parties in interest first, and then the general public. So the parties in interest are only the applicant themselves or those persons living with 250 feet within that of the property to be rezoned to whom the city has sent notices. After all those parties in interest have commented, we will open it up to any member of the public, for germane comments to that item. To aid the city clerk in calling on the parties in interest, I will ask everyone else not to raise your hand on the Zoom unless you are that zoning applicant or live within that 250 feet and receive that notice. Anyone who raises their hand before it is time will be compared with a mailing list, and if you're not on that list, you'll be considered disruptive and will not be recognized for the remainder of the meeting. So please, I ask, wait until I call, and everybody's been doing pretty well the last few meetings on this. So I call for general public for zoning items. You will not be called on for the remainder of the meeting if you have been disruptive. For those members of the general public who do wait to raise their hands, They'll be called on. We're going to allow 7 minutes for the total germane comments, 1 minute per person after the parties in interest have spoken. On item 49, it's been requested to be continued till March 8th by the applicant. So comments will be had at the next council meeting by the applicant and those parties in interest and the general public on that item. As to item 50, it's not a rezoning. There's no applicant or vicinity parties in interest. And that item is going to proceed immediately for that up to 7 minutes of total germane comments by the public at no more than 1 minute per person. So for the remainder of the hearing this evening, any interested party may make germane comments at not to exceed 1 minute per person to a maximum of 5 minutes per hearing. As a reminder, in the construction hearings, only comments as to the plans or the specifications, the form of documents, and the engineer's estimate and the lowest bidder's designation are going to be considered germane. All their comments on those are considered non-germane. So let's go ahead and quickly get started. Item 42 is on a request from the city of Des Moines, who's the owner, to amend Plan DSM, creating our tomorrow future land use designation, the vicinity of 1501 Harriet Street, to be rezoned from I-1 Industrial District to P2 Public Civic Institutional, to allow the property to be developed with public recreation use. A is the first consideration of the ordinance above, and B is the final consideration of the ordinance above. The waiver is requested by our city manager and requires 6 votes. I'll quickly ask if there's any parties in interest on this item. Either the applicant or those people that are in 250 feet of the property to be rezoned. Anyone? Okay. I'll ask if there's any members of the general public who want to make germane comments to this item. Again, City of Des Moines. Indira.
Hi, I'm just looking for clarification. Are you guys turning this into a park, or what's the plan for this?
Mayor, you want me to jump on? It's in my ward. Or do you want staff to?
You can go ahead.
Basically, it's going to be used basically as it is. I'm not sure why it was ever zoned industrial district, being it's always been a public in and out for our river. And that's what it's going to be used for. So yes, there will be a park-like setting that we will maintain much better than what it's maintained now.
All right.
If there's no one else to comment, Mayor, I'll move 42A and B.
All right. It's been moved. Any other comments for the council? Seeing none, let's poll the council, please.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Boss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
Okay, item 3, it's on a request from HJT Inc. Jack Houghton is the officer to rezone property located at 2101 Dixon Street from I-1 Industrial District to limited I-2 Industrial District to allow property to be used additionally for the transfer of hazardous and flammable materials. A is the first consideration of the ordinance above, and B is the final consideration of the ordinance above. This waiver is being requested by Jack Houghton, who's the officer, and it requires 6 votes. All right, we'll ask if there's any parties in interest or those within 250 feet who would like to speak on this item. All right, seeing none. Any comments from the general public on this? All right, seeing none. Do we have a motion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move item 43A and B.
All right, 43A and B has been moved. Would you poll the council, please?
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Boss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Joe?
Did he didn't say yes, did he?
Yes, sorry, I was muted and then I hit the wrong button. Apologize.
Okay, thank you. 7 yes, motion carries.
All right, item 44, it's on a request from JCAM LLC to amend Plan DSN, creating our tomorrow future land use designation to rezone property located at 1503 Fifth Avenue from N5 Neighborhood District to N52 Neighborhood to allow the property to be converted to a 2-household use duplex. A is the first consideration of the ordinance above. B is the final consideration of the ordinance above. The waiver is being requested by John Cheng, who's the officer, and it requires 6 votes. Again, let's ask, are there any parties in interest, either the applicant or those living within that 250 feet that received a notice for this to speak? Anyone on? John? Our party in interest. John, floor is yours. Can you unmute yourself? There you go.
Oh, yeah, my name is David Miller. I'm speaking on behalf of John Cheng regarding the proposed rezoning of his property. I would say that Mr. Cheng has invested nearly $300,000 in renovation and improvement of the property. The duplex will have 2 large living areas. Rent will be $2,100, $1,500 on these. Mr. Cheng will do background checks and credit checks for potential renters. I believe he'll be an attentive landlord. He did not intentionally ignore zoning regulations. Originally, when he bought this house, there were already 3 living units in it, despite that was not legal. But he assumed it was okay to convert it to a duplex. By the time he discovered that there were regulations involved here, he did not wish to send his work crews home, and so we continued with renovation and construction with the hope that the zoning could be changed to encompass the property. Concerning the ordinance that at least 50% of the property not be covered by building or impervious material, Mr. Cheng understands concern for aesthetics and the water runoff situation. If he has to, of course, the sidewalk surrounding the house was not put there arbitrarily, but for the convenience of his tenants. And he does not wish to remove any more concrete than he absolutely has to. He is willing to comply with the recommendations to reduce the concrete, but he would like to do this when the weather is warmer rather than begin on this now if it's an absolute necessity that he do so. So I think this is all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Any other parties of interest? Again, those within 250 feet of this property to be rezoned. Anybody like to speak? All right, seeing none, let's open it up and see if there's any members of the public who would like to make germane comments regarding this application. Jalen?
Hey, can you hear me?
We can.
Cool. Just wanted to speak on this because I do know that it is in the Riverbend neighborhood. And I'm just concerned about ongoing gentrification that's happening in that neighborhood. And so I hear this developer, this landlord coming in and wanting to rezone this into a 2-household duplex, which sounds good. I would just hope that rent is not too high. I know that You mentioned some rent prices, I think 1,500 to 2,000. Would like to see that go down a little bit. So yeah, just very cognizant of the gentrification that's happening in that neighborhood, which is also coupled with the hyper policing that's happening in that neighborhood. I think they go hand in hand, and I think that it's intentional for the city and for the Des Moines Police Department to hyper police the neighborhood, the Riverbend area, because they do want Black folks and people of color out of there, and they want white folks and more affluent folks to be moving in. So that's just something I want to speak out against and make sure that gentrification is being stopped. I think that we have a problem with that in the city, and would like to see members of our council speak out against gentrification in all forms, especially in the Riverbend neighborhood, which also again goes in with hyper policing. We should defund the Des Moines Police Department.
All right, Chelsea?
Hi, thank you. Yes, Chelsea Chisholm Vargas. My pronouns are she, her, ella. I would just like to say I don't support this rezoning. I think if we're going to rezone it to anything, whatever the rezoning code is to give land back to Indigenous peoples, let's go with that rezoning code. Thank you.
All right. Ask, Bill, is this your ward?
Yes, it is, Mayor, and I'll move item 44A and B. I did have a chance to talk with Mike Ludwig about how we got to this point, and I've talked with the Riverbend neighborhood group, and I think we're good with this moving forward. So I'll move 44A and B.
All right, it's been moved. Poll the council.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Boss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
Item 45 is on a request from Porter Hardware, Inc., it's the owner, to rezone property located at 4207 Hubble Avenue from MX3 Mixed Use District to CX Mixed Use District to allow the property with an existing retail sales, general and vehicle sales and rental equipment to expand to retail sales, large format with additional warehouse and accessory outdoor storage. A is the first consideration of the ordinance above, and B is the final consideration of the ordinance above. The waivers requested by David Porter, who is the owner. This will require 6 votes. Again, let's ask if there's any parties in interest who would like to speak regarding this rezoning, or parties in interest also including those within the 250 feet of the property and who received a notice. Anybody? Chelsea?
I don't have them listed as parties in interest.
I guess.
I think Wally's the engineer, Mayor. He spoke before as an engineering firm.
Yep.
Okay, I will.
Wally?
Yeah, good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of the council. Wally Pelds, Pelds Design Services, 2323 Dixon Street, Des Moines. This is a unique request from us. Typically, we don't ask for zoning changes to do site plans, especially within the existing code, but it ended up with the new code that got laid over this district. We ended up in a nexus that wouldn't allow our existing operation to go forward. This was brought to our attention when we proposed to add a 50 by 100 building in the back to enclose some of the rental machines that they have there, the lifts and the trenchers and other machinery that's available. And that is the purpose of this request. I believe we got a unanimous vote from planning and zoning. I'm here to answer any questions you might have.
Council, any questions on this? All right. Let's go ahead and open up if there's any germane comments from the general public. Again, 1 minute. I see Daniel. or Pell. Daniel?
Good evening, everybody. I'm actually here to speak to item 50, but I live on the east side in Fairmount Park, 2336 Farwell. And just because this came up, I just would like to voice support for the expansion of our local neighborhood hardware store on the east side. And that's all I have to say.
All right. Council, do we have a motion?
Yes, Mayor, I would like to make a motion to approve item 45A and B. And I would also like to thank city staff and to thank Mr. Porter and Wally Peld for working together to make this happen. Porter Hardware was really put into a very unique situation because with the reconstruction of Hubble Avenue, they lost some of their parking, and it's really been a challenge. And then when we changed the zoning, it really became very difficult. And, you know, I just have to emphasize, we said we were going to make our zoning code and it would be a living document and we would work with people, but he just encountered a lot of obstacles to go through. So I thank Porter Hardware for staying diligent in his attempt to get it changed. So with that, I do move 45A and B.
Would you poll the council, please?
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Boss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right, takes us to item 46. Item 46 is on a request from Joppa LLC, who's the owner, to amend Plan DSM, creating our tomorrow plan, future land use designation from low density residential to low medium residential and rezone property in the vicinity of 1010 13th Street from N5 Neighborhood District to N52 Neighborhood District to allow the property to be developed with a 2-household living use duplexes. A is the first consideration of the ordinance above. All right, item 46, again, we're going to ask if there's any parties in interest, either the applicant or those within 250 feet of the property to be rezoned. And we'll open it up if there's any of those folks who would like to speak. I see Kurt Carlson has his hand up. Kurt? Can you unmute yourself, Kurt?
Very good. My name is Kurt Carlson, and I'm associated with Joppa, and I'm the applicant for this request. Joppa purchased this property approximately 3 years ago. It was unbuildable due to a large sewer easement. We were able to use a corner of the property to plan for a duplex. At the time, the property was zoned multi-unit. Now with the rezoning, it became single family. So what we would like to do is get it back to a 2-unit zoning of N5-2 so that we can continue with our plans to build the duplex. The duplex will be a cottage home duplex similar to the one that we built at 1305 Laurel. And our plans are to have rent set at $550 per month.
Okay. Any other parties in interest? Those within 250 feet of the property to be rezoned who would like to speak? Seeing none, ask for germane comments from the general public.
Seeing none, Mr. Mayor, I'll move item 46A, and I'll move to waive the second and third reading. I've had a chance to tour the tiny cottages that Joppa has previously built nearby, and think that that's a great affordable housing option and want to see them continue to be successful and continue to build these tiny cottages in our community. So I'm happy to move this item.
All right. Item's been moved. Would you poll the council, please, clerk?
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
Item 47, it's on a request from Jerry's Homes, Inc. for approval of a second amendment to the Pearl Lake PUD conceptual plan on property located at 3009 East Peyton Avenue in the vicinity of the 3001 block of East Peyton Avenue to allow the revision to the street layout and change the property on the East Army Post Road frontage to large lot, one household lots from previously approved townhomes and reduce the minimum lot sizes for specific lots to have a minimum of 70-foot width and a minimum of 9,600 square foot area. Additional property is owned by Janet Bainter and the city of Des Moines. Again, we'll ask if there's any parties in interest, either the applicant or those within 250 feet of this property who would like to speak at this time. All right, seeing none, we'll ask if there's any of the general public who would like to make comment at this time. And again, now up to 1 minute per person, 7 minutes max. All right, seeing none.
Mr. Mayor, I'll move item 47.
Okay, item 47 has been moved. Would you poll the council?
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right, item 48 is on a request from Catholic Health Initiatives, Iowa Corporation doing business as Mercy Hospital Center Des Moines, Mercy Medical Center Des Moines, who's the owner, for approval of a proposed 7th Amendment to the Mercy Medical Center PUD conceptual plan on property located in the vicinity of 1111 6th Avenue to allow the construction of a canopy on the building known as 411 Laurel Street and a revision of the campus sign plan. Again, we'll ask if there's any parties in interest who would like to speak. Looks like we have Shannon. Can you unmute yourself? There you go.
Hello. Hi, my name's Shannon McGee, and I'm an architect at Envision working on the project and speaking on behalf of Mercy Medical Center. The proposal on the property involves the replacement of the building's canopy, extension of the drive to allow for additional car queuing, and revision of the signage plan to incorporate additional wayfinding signage to dedicate the building to the Richard Deming Cancer Center. If there's any questions, we are here and happy to answer them.
Council, any questions? Seeing none, and no more parties in interest, let's open it up for the general public. Anybody want to speak on this one?
Seeing none, Mr. Mayor, I'll move item 48.
All right, item 48 has been moved. Would you poll the council, please, Madam Clerk?
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right, item 49 is continuing the hearing on a request from Wesley Retirement Services, Inc. For the approval of an amendment to the Wesley Acres PUD conceptual plan on the property located at 3520 Grand Avenue and 401 37th Street. The request is to have a motion to continue the hearing, I believe, till March 8th. Is that not right, Mr. Manager? Josh?
Yeah, my understanding is it continues till March 8th, and I'll move item 49.
All right, item 49 to continue till March 8th. Poll the council, please.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Boss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
Okay, item 50 is on a proposed amendment to zoning ordinance by amending sections 134-6.5.2 and 134-6.6.2 and 134-7.2.3 relating to the expansion of the extension of legal non-conforming residential uses within one household and two household residential structures by addition thereto, and the construction of detached private garages and outbuildings on lots containing such residential structures. Council communication number 21-077. A is the first consideration of the ordinance above.
Mr. Mayor, before you reach out to the public, if I could just make a couple of comments before I make a motion on this, is that I want to make it clear to people that are listening that item 50 does not change any zoning. But what it's doing is it's an amendment to make minor changes for homes that are in a non-conforming area. So, and what this really comes down to is there are some homes that are in an industrial area. We changed the zoning back in 2019. And now this neighborhood has not been able to build garages, make additions to their homes. And this amendment, which we certainly want to pass, will make it so they can now add on to their homes, they can build garages, they can make those modifications that they were not able to do previously. And I have more to say about it, but I'll hold on until I make the motion.
Okay, did you make the motion, Linda?
No, I did not, because I know that we have people that want to speak on it. So I'd like to hear from them first.
All right. I see Daniel.
Good evening again. I'm here this evening because there were multiple attempts to reach out to neighbors in Fairmont Park by folks who live on this particular stretch of street to be here this evening. And I've been following the zoning since 2019 and before. I really want to point out that there seems to be a pattern here where the zoning is being more obtrusive in some cases than it is helpful. And I know that it is a living document and it's a very difficult document to create, but it seems to be a pattern here this evening. And then I guess I have a question, and Linda, maybe you can speak to this, or city staff, but this seems to be a pretty heavily residential area to be zoned light industrial. So I'm curious, instead of talking about an exemption, which is a burden on residents, why we aren't talking about rezoning this back to a residential area. Thank you.
And Daniel, this is Linda, and I will speak to that. Part of my motion is going to be that we go back and re-examine some of these neighborhoods that we changed from residential neighborhoods to industrial.
Okay, Patricia? Patricia, floor is yours.
Patricia, are you on a phone? If you're on a phone, hit *9. Or I mean, sorry, I keep saying that, *6.
All right, let's move on to Indira.
Hi, Indira Shoemaker, pronounced she, her. I wanted to follow up on what Daniel was saying. Daniel, you recognized a pattern of constantly changing zoning in city council meetings. That's not just a pattern for this meeting, it's a pattern for every meeting. And essentially we've got like a plan, the plan DSM, that isn't really structured in a way that's functional. There have been concerns from council members about this in the past, and creates situations like this so that we have to go back and change those back to industrial, or from industrial back to neighborhood, which is what Linda's requesting. But yeah, this is like a repeating problem that we've had on every city council meeting that I've been on since June. And so I just wanted to point out that the city needs to be doing something about that, that there needs to be a new plan. Basically, at this point, there needs to be a new structure. It needs to be focused on community needs, and not on just changing whatever you want for any developer that decides that they want to buy the land. So that's my comment.
It looks like we have a phone number that's got their hand up.
Again, *6 to unmute. And you are on 9532.
Okay. Hi, Council, Mayor. This is Jeff Whitty. I'm president of Fairmont Park Neighborhood Association. I live at 2501 East Morton. This would be a first good step for you to pass this amendment. But the thing that we really need to do is we need to get this rezoned back to residential. What we're doing here is we're trying to, I guess we're telling these people that, hey, look, you know, we want you in Des Moines, we want you to pay full taxes and so forth, but yet you don't get all the service, you don't get all the benefits of all the other people in Fairmont Park's neighborhood. So I think it would be a great gesture to move this and then come back in hopefully as soon as possible and rezone this area. I believe all the residents there would enjoy that and be a lot better off trying to, if they ever try to sell their house, it'd be kind of a tough situation for them.
Thank you.
David Lyons.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
We sure can.
Okay, now I own the property at 1721 East 21st Street and was unaware of this rezoning. And I put my house on the market, and I've had 2 banks back out of financing people because the homes are not rebuildable. So now I am stuck with 2 mortgages due to this apparent rezoning that no one was notified of. And I really feel that it needs to be rezoned, you know, soon. Because I have another offer, but they can't close on the house unless, you know, they get a variance or that gets rezoned. So that's, and I don't think anyone else in the neighborhood is aware of the fact that you're just stuck, you can't sell it. That's what this rezoning has done to our properties, that made
Time.
them useless.
Thank you.
Looks like Mike Ludwig is on. Mike?
Mayor, County, members of the council, Michael Ludwig, Deputy Director of Development Services. There have been some statements made about refinancing and sale of houses and rebuilds that are not accurate. The zoning code changed the zoning of the areas. These are non-conforming, legal non-conforming uses. The zoning code does allow a legal non-conforming use to be rebuilt on a property in its existing footprint. The code changes in front of you are going to actually allow some expansions of those structures and additions of garages. As far as financing goes, a person can still sell their house. Our code specifically addresses that non-conforming, legal non-conforming status does not change with ownership. So it can be sold. And our research with lenders has shown that with a rebuild letter from the zoning enforcement officer, which is a fairly common letter for legal non-conforming uses, banks are accepting that for financing. So I guess if the person who spoke regarding the inability to sell would like to contact staff and discuss that, we can put them in contact with lenders who understand that process and can possibly assist any purchasers that might be looking at buying his property. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. Jalen Campbell.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, so just speaking on.
Whoops, sorry.
Yo, can you hear me?
Sorry, I did that to you, Jalen. I was trying to switch somebody that was speaking before you. Go ahead.
All good, Kay, all good. Just watch it, you know. Seems like it always happens to me. Kind of funny. But yeah, speaking on item 50, this does sound really frustrating for folks who live in this neighborhood. I do want to just point out again that, you know, Indira actually answered a question that a constituent had on this, because the city council makes things so confusing and does not take the time to explain things, that people get on this meeting and they are confused and they need other people to answer questions for them, and the city council does not provide that information. So thank goodness we have Indira on this call, and hopefully have her on the city council in replacement of Bill Gray coming up here in this year. So yeah, I just wanted to speak on item 50 and express my concern for the way that the city council does not care about the people who it's supposed to represent, does not provide information for the people they're supposed to represent, and is wholly incompetent. So yeah, thanks for my time.
All right, Linda, let's go back to you.
Thank you. I just want to make a couple of comments, and I appreciate that Mike Ludwig made the comments that he did, but I too have spoken to quite a few lenders. I know that 3 buyers went to our own neighborhood finance to purchase this house that the speaker spoke about. Now, I'm told that the house has been, you know, remodeled. There's not much else to do, but NFC said, no, you can't, we're not going to loan on it because you can't build a garage. And that's what they would use their money for. I also have spoken to several lenders that lend with FHA, which is what a lot of our first-time home buyers use. And in order to do FHA, the underwriter is going to look at what is the best and highest use of the property. And that question right there is going to be a red flag and will stop lenders from lending at marketable rates. Now, yes, you may be able to go get a conventional loan, but a lot of people that are buying homes that are first-time home buyers or have a little lower credit score are going to use FHA or NFC. As we've had buyers that went to NFC, and NFC said, no, you can't, you know, we're not gonna loan money on it because you can't do anything with it. And I pulled out our CZB report that the city hired a consultant to look at our housing stock. And one of the emphasis is that many of our homes that were built back in the 30s and the 40s are functionally obsolete. So we want people to add bathrooms, maybe add a bedroom to their house, to do these things so we have good housing stock for our neighborhoods. I'm also very concerned about personal property rights, which I am a neighborhood person, and it bothers me greatly to know that we have impacted a neighborhood. And it's not just this neighborhood. There is a neighborhood down on Maury that we did the same thing with, is that we changed it from residential to industrial. Now, NFC, who's very aware of what's going on in our market, has purchased lots in the neighborhood on East 21st and over off of Martin Luther King. They can't build a house there because industrial will not allow you to build anything. So they're in a really tough spot. I think we have damaged our neighborhoods. I think that we've impacted our neighbors. We have said, we're going to take away your right to improve your property and to increase your values and make it a good, livable, viable neighborhood, because we felt that it would be better to be zoned industrial. I had a problem with this back in 2018 and 2019 when we passed the code. I know that I've brought up these issues many, many times before, but now it's really impacting us because on this one street alone, we've had a fire and the house is just sitting there, fire damaged because he can't do anything with it. He wanted to build on. As long as the house is burned and he has to put a new roof on, he went to an architect and he said, here, let's make this so we have a functional home that will function well for today's world. And he was told no. We have a property owner who lost her garage in the derecho. You know, she had a little tiny one-car garage, probably built in the 40s. That doesn't work in today's world. As long as you're going to rebuild it and build a two-story. She had to go through plan and zoning. She had to go through all of the city processes to get it done. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't an easy process. Like if I want to go build a garage, all I have to do is go down to the counter, get my permit and build a garage. But we're making it difficult for these people that are in affordable houses in a very affordable neighborhood. They're property owners. Many of them have been there a long time, and we're impacting their ability to sell their homes. When we talk about the zoning code, and I just want to make clear, we can't change this zoning tonight. Just like all of these that come before us, it's not city council that has changed the zoning. It is, these applicants have to go through the plan and zoning process. They have to sit down with city staff. There's a long process that takes place before plan and zoning makes a recommendation to city council to go ahead and approve the changing of zoning. And I'll tell you, it really puts my hair on fire when I hear people talk about rebuild letters, because I have dealt with the city in the past about rebuild letters, and they are not easy to get. In fact, a few years ago, I remember I tried to get a rebuild letter on a house that was non-conforming, and the city said, we're no longer issuing rebuild letters. Well, now they've changed that, and they are, but how long does it take? Can I get a rebuild letter in 2 days, or does it take me 4 weeks or longer, like what I'm being told that it takes? So I want us to pass Item 50, I want to waive any additional hearings, which I'm not sure if we needed a second or third reading on this. It doesn't look like we do, but I want to go one step further and ask that we seriously have conversations about going back and re-looking at our zoning and how we have impacted our neighborhoods. And I know that I've had several conversations with our city manager, and he really is not in favor of that. But I think we owe it to the residents that live in our city. We have lots and lots of industrial land that's available right now. We don't need to worry about this being industrial. I understand that some of these areas may sit in neighborhoods that you may look at and say, well, that's really not a neighborhood, it's too close to industrial. This is where residents choose to live, many times because it's affordable, they're familiar with the neighborhood, they've grown up in the neighborhood. Why are we chasing people out? And the affordable housing ability is what really bothers me, because we need affordable housing in our community, and this provides it. So that's my motion.
Thanks for your motion. I'd like to quickly to have the city manager address a couple of the points here. Are you looking to waive the second and third reading here?
Yes, I did not see it on my agenda item, but I would, if it takes a second and third reading, I certainly want to waive that.
Okay.
Along with,
so
now let's have a discussion.
50A and then to waive the second and third.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Scott, could you make a couple of comments on this, please?
Yeah, Mayor, if I could, I just want to make sure we're absolutely clear on this item tonight. This was brought to us by Councilmember Westergaard in two-part, solve the issues, and there were several brought up about the ability to rebuild and the ability to expand their property, which could include adding a garage. And so we have addressed all the non-conforming issues that have been brought forward with this action tonight. The issue that I understand has not been resolved to the satisfaction of the council member is a complete rezoning back to residential, which impacts empty lots and the ability for someone to come in, have an empty lot and build residential. That discussion we can bring back to the full council in a work session setting if that's the desire. So we can address that separately, but we are quickly addressing all the legal non-conforming issues that have been brought to us. So hopefully that's clarifying that we are solving those issues with this action.
And I appreciate that, Scott. I do want to make note that we changed this zoning 2 years ago, and it never reflected on the county assessor's site. Our zoning didn't catch up with the county assessor until 2 months ago. So we have lenders that have made loans on houses thinking that it was residential, when indeed it was industrial. And those property owners never knew about it.
I see Joe's hands up. Joe?
Mayor, thank you. I appreciate the comments. We have changed our zoning 2 years ago. We said we would go back and look at it again. For instance, tonight on the agenda, we had to change the zoning from industrial to a park setting, where it's always been a park setting, because we didn't catch it as council members. Staff put it on there, intentional or non-intentional, but we do need to look at, there is issues on Murray. It relates to affordable housing, and we're always saying we need a more affordable housing in our area, but we want to push people out that have lived there and want to improve their properties. And when something happens tragically to their properties, well, you can't build there anymore. And we'll take responsibility, but also the staff needs to take responsibility, because as they went through each area, they knew that that was residential, but in their vision, they changed it and didn't point it out to any of us as they went through and changed it. So I'll take the responsibility as voting on it, but also Scott, you and your staff need to take the responsibility of changing it and not pointing out 2 years ago when we voted on this and said that we would revisit it in a year if we seen problems in it. Now it's been 2 years, there is problems on it, and we do need to revisit it probably sooner than later, because it sounds like there's some loaning issues. This will fix some of it, but it's not going to fix. And I would be completely in favor of back where it's all been residential and where people are living, to leave it residential. That's what it's supposed to be. So I wholeheartedly agree with you, Councilmember Westergaard, and I think that we need to address this sooner than later. It's not something that we can just breeze over like we breezed over it before. This needs to be addressed now. So whether we need to get together as a workshop or a work session, however you want to do it, maybe you need to send us the information. I'm sure staff knows exactly which areas they are, and they can send it out in a PDF file to us pretty quickly. So those are my comments, Mayor. I think Linda already moved it, so we'll move forward.
All right, would you poll the council, please?
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right, items 51, 52, and 53, those were not used. Let's move to item 54. This is on the Fleur Drive reconstruction, southbound lanes from George Flagg Parkway to Watrous Avenue, a resolution approving the plan, specifications, form of contract documents, engineer's estimate, receive and file bids, and designating the lowest responsible bidder as Inroads LLC. Joseph Manette is the president, $6,460,390.51. Council communication number 21-081A. Under that is approving the contract and the bond and permission to sublet. This is about the proposed plan specifications, the contract or estimated cost in the public improvements. And those, if anybody has any comments on that, we would do it. I see Councilmember Gatto has his hand up. Joe?
Question, Your Honor. This is the same stretch that we basically did for the northbound lanes. This is the southbound lanes, correct?
Correct.
This is a different contractor that did the northbound lanes, correct?
I believe that's right.
And what was the bid that we paid for the northbound lanes? Does anyone know? With the sidewalk addition that we put in at Wakanda. Because this is going to have sidewalk all the way from Watrous to George Flagg, correct? Or just not, or Watrous to Bell?
It is going to have sidewalk.
All the way to George Flagg? That's what I'd like to see.
I believe it does have it all the way to George Flagg, but staff can confirm.
Is Steve on?
Yes.
Yep, Steve's on. Steve? Steve, can you unmute yourself? There you go.
Sorry about that. Yep, Honorable Mayor, that's correct. It is a different, first question, it is a different contractor. Inroads out of Des Moines is the low bidder. The first phase was around 8 million, so it was more expensive. The first phase did have the water main replacement, but yeah, we are seeing great prices. There's no question. This is a great price. We've got a lot of bids on this, and the councilman is correct. This does include adding sidewalks on the west side all the way down to George Flag.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Let's go ahead and see.
Your Honor, I lost connection. So I heard 2 seconds of Steve's comment, and I apologize. I did not hear anything that he said other than it was a new contractor and it was $2 million cheaper.
For the benefit of Councilmember Gatto, could you repeat that?
I apologize, Your Honor. I mean, I don't know what happened.
No worries. Honorable Mayor, members of the City Council, this is Steve Neighbor, City Engineer. So we did get, this is a different contractor than was phase one. Phase one was just over $8 million. This contractor, low bidder, Inroads out of Des Moines, came in under $6.5 million. So we're obviously very happy with the bids and pricing. We are seeing great pricing right now of folks looking for work. And now the first phase did have water main replacement in that, so that added some cost to the first phase. But and then the second question, this phase is similar in that complete reconstruction of the roadway, and it does add sidewalk on the west side from Watrous all the way to George Flag Parkway. So that's
okay. And do we have any history with Inroads LLC? Because my 7 years on the council, I don't ever remember seeing their name. Is that a different company that's changed names to Inroads? I mean, we're awarding a $6.5 million contract, which is quite a bit of money and a road that's traveled a lot. And do we have history on Inroads LLC?
They are newer and growing. The history we have as a city, the Inroads did Franklin Avenue project that was just completed last year. They have tended to do more. Their focus is asphalt paving, and so they will be doing the paving work on this contract. They have a number of subcontractors who are very experienced. Riley is one of them. That subcontractors that are used to that have worked a lot in urban environments as well, doing the underground and excavation work, utility work, and that such. So
Riley will be digging it out, forming it, and Inroads will just be doing the overlay of the asphalt.
Well, yeah, correct, except it's actually a full depth pavement. So Inroads will be doing all the paving, the full depth asphalt. So.
But Riley will be doing all the other one in the sidewalk construction. Inroads will be doing the sidewalk construction. Is that what the deal is with this?
I'd have to check on who it is. I think it's a different contractor doing a concrete contractor doing the sidewalk. I'd have to check on that. There's a team of subs on this one, so as well.
Okay. But they've never did a full reconstruction in the city of Des Moines that we know of.
Not in the city, and well, Franklin Avenue had some sections that were full depth reconstruction that they were involved with. So that was done last year, but primarily the job was a resurfacing job that had some sections that were full depth reconstruction.
And is the length of the construction still one construction cycle that they're going to be able to do all of it since the water lines are in this time? So we're not going to go through a full winter where we're going to close it and then go back and do it again? Or are we going to be able to get it all done in one, like we talked about, once the water line was in, this side would go much quicker?
This side, we anticipate to go quicker, but it still will take 2 construction seasons. There is some storm sewer work, and then with the added, there is some storm sewer work that needs to be done on the west side, and then adding the sidewalk all the way down to George Flag. There's some retaining wall work. So we anticipate that this work will start this spring and be completed in the fall of 22. So it's 2 construction seasons.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Steve. Are there any comments by the general public? Indira?
Hi, I just wanted to comment because I think that I was wanting to know more about the sidewalk, if they're going to be expanding it into like bike lane size, because I know that this is kind of the connection between George Flagg up to like the country club. I actually have like a specific experience with this where I was trying to go from work to the tournament up at the golf course, because my grandpa who works at that golf course got us like free tickets to the principal tournament. But there wasn't really any way to get there if I wasn't going to drive, and there's nowhere to park up there at that time. So I'm wondering if it's going to be bikeable, knowing that Grays Lake rents out bikes, if it's going to be kind of like an accessible thing for people, because it's really not a walkable area right now.
Steve, do you want to make a quick comment on that?
Yep, the sidewalk, the new sidewalk will be 5 feet in width. So there'll be that'll be sidewalks on both sides of Fleur, all the way down to Grays Lake, 5 feet in width on each side of the road.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can.
Yeah, I'm just interested on this item, especially because I live like right over here. Live in the Watrous South neighborhood, Ward 3, Councilmember Mandelbaum's ward. Incidentally, it's also Councilmember Joe Gatto's ward because that is where he lives at. I mean, that's just a fact, right? Like Joe Gatto lives in Ward 3, but he represents Ward 4.
Mayor,
which,
you're going to let
I
him
don't know
make
if that's
those
the reason why he
comments?
asked
Are
me
those
the
really
question.
germane
It's a
comments,
fact.
Mayor?
It's a fact, Joe Gatto. It's a fact.
Okay,
I'm
buddy.
sorry, that's not germane.
Mayor, I have a question about the sidewalks.
Looks like Steve or Mike Lund would like to make a comment here. Mike?
Sorry, no, Your Honor, I'm lowering my hand.
Okay, lowered his hand. Go ahead. Joe, back to you.
Mayor, could Steve tell us what the right-of-way between is going to be? Because I know on the other side of the street, in some sections, it's right next to the street. And are we going to see that on the west side of the road also? Or are we going to have some sort of distance between the street for safety reasons and the sidewalk on the west side of the road? Consistently all the way down.
Yep, Honorable Mayor Steve Neighbor, City Engineer. That Councilman is correct. There'll actually be a wider grass area or parkway. There'll be a wider parkway between the back of the curb and the sidewalk on the west side. So in this case, it'll be at least 5 feet off the back of curb. And in some cases it goes to 7, but most of the case it'll be 5 feet. So it'll be 2 feet farther than the back of curb than the other side.
What's mostly, Steve? Like from where to where is 7, and from where, or just tell me where the 5 feet is going to be, I guess would be beneficial.
I would say it's 5 feet the entire direction, the entire length, but there's a couple areas where it curves back around a utility or so. So it's 5 feet the entire distance.
So it's not 7 feet the entire distance. It's the majority is 5 feet.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. And the majority on the other side is how close?
3 feet.
Okay.
Vanessa?
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I was just hoping that you, Mayor County, could clarify rules since you're really big on rules. And I was just wondering why you continue to allow Joe Gatto to have explosive outbursts during these meetings. It is on.
Is this pertinent to the Fleur Drive reconstruction?
Mayor County, you need to address the rules and you need to bring order to these meetings. You're not allowed to, you shouldn't be allowing Joe Gatto
Thank you.
to
This
have
is
out.
not. All right, could we have a motion, item 54?
Yeah, Mayor, I will gladly move item 54. I'm excited to get this corridor reconstructed. I know a lot of folks will be appreciative to get these southbound lanes done. I've heard great feedback on the northbound lanes and the sidewalks, and adding the sidewalks on the other side of the street will be great for the community as well. So excited to see this get done and happy to move item 54.
And 54A, Josh?
In 54A.
Yeah, terrific.
All right, poll the council, please. Item 54 and 54A.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right. Move to item 55. Item 55 is on the Ingersoll Avenue, 42nd Street to Polk Boulevard reconstruction. Resolution approving the plan, specifications, form of contract documents, engineer's estimate, receive and file the bids, and designate the lowest responsible bidder is Correll Contractor, Inc. Grant S. Correll is the president. $2,999,857.11. Council communication number 21-084. A is approving the contract and the bond and permission to sublet. Council, any comments here? Seeing none, I'll ask the general public if you have any objections to the plans, the specifications, the form of contract, or the estimated cost, public improvement. Those are would be considered germane. Okay. Council? Well, wait a minute. Dylan?
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, perfect. Thank you. My name's Dylan. Work in the city of Des Moines, live just outside of it, but just wanted to comment on seeing a almost $3 million contract go to a union general contractor that's going to be employing the union members from the city of Des Moines to work on a project within its city limits. So I just wanted to show my support to that. So thank you very much.
All right. Seeing no more eligible speakers, do we have a motion?
Yeah, I'll move item 55 and 55A. This is also going to be a great improvement for this stretch, and I know we've got additional conversations to have related to these improvements, and look forward to having those conversations as well.
Clerk, would you poll the council, please?
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Voss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right, item 56 is on the 2021 citywide mid-block crossing resolution approving the plan, specifications, form of contract documents, engineer's estimate, and receive and file the bids, and designating the lowest responsible bidder as Iowa Signal, Inc. Wayne Leslie is the president. $129,243.75. Council communication number 21-078. A is approving the contract and the bond. Council, any thoughts here?
Yeah, I see no one. I will be glad to move 56 and 56A.
All right, and we'll ask the general public for eligible speakers to speak regarding the plan specifications, form of the contract for the estimated cost of this public improvement. Indira?
Hi, I just want to note that as per your procedural rules, Jalen is still an eligible speaker as he hasn't been disruptive twice. Thank you.
Right, I'm not sure that had anything to do with the proposed plan specifications, form of contract, or the estimated cost. Seeing no other eligible speakers, council, do we have a motion?
Connie moved it.
Yep. All right, the item's been moved. Poll the council, please.
County,
Yes.
Boson,
Yes.
Boss,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Westergaard,
Yes.
Mandelbaum,
Yes.
Gatto.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's 7 yes, motion carries.
All right, let's note that it's 6:14 and we have completed the hearings. Let's go back to our communications and request to speak from our citizens. Kate, I noted that it looked like Denver was unable to get on. Is that correct?
That's correct. She's not available tonight. She sent me a note early or,
Okay.
late afternoon.
Luis Gomez? There, Louise, can you unmute yourself? There you go.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, thanks. I want to use my time tonight to highlight and uplift community leaders all over Des Moines who have stepped up and made efforts to organize our community and to help our most vulnerable neighbors. Some of them are like Des Moines Mutual Aid, Des Moines BLM Collective, North Des Moines Mutual Aid, Edna Griffin Mutual Aid, the Sweet Tooth Farm and their community fridge, Good Vibes Movement, among other community members, and a lot of them are in this meeting. So I just wanted to use this time to, highlight the efforts that they have made. I feel like us as a community has stepped up and picked up on a lot of slack from our city government and have, relied on our community as we see the need that is great in Des Moines. So I just wanted to shout that out. Council members and Mayor County, it'd be great if you all use your platforms to support and uplift these groups and community members. They're making efforts to help our neighbors who have otherwise, for whatever reason, been outcast or overlooked or are not aware of the resources that are offered by the city and other religious organizations. This is why we elected you to lead and to represent us as a community. And I would really love to see some of you out here organizing mutual aid efforts and supporting the efforts of your constituents instead of, working for the interest of real estate developers and doing photo ops with the police department to use as propaganda. While we are on the subject of the police department, I understand that, there has to be a due process before we can fire a police officer. And I hope that Officer Briggs is fired soon, as his power tripping behavior makes me feel unsafe. And when he's fired, I hope that we can charge the money that we are paying him now to sit at home because of something that he did that was obviously against the law.
Brenda McDonald.
Brenda, you need to hit *6 to speak. hit R. Okay,
There you go.
there you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I guess as I listened to everyone speak, I was going in one direction and I may end up going into another one because of them. As we've sat back and we've watched Minneapolis the past, let's say, 6 months, they've watched their crime spiral out of control. Their city council began to defund the police department, and it sparked anger and frustration with their decision amongst the community, and they wanted answers. Now, months later, they find themselves approving $6.4 million to go back and expand the police department. People have expectations of their local leaders and police departments to make decisions that will keep crime down and keep their communities safe. Defunding police will hurt the same people they are trying to help. Statistics show that communities would see an uptick in crime. Regardless of race, the majority of people still support retaining the police departments. With all due respect to the city council, if defunding the police is ever truly put on the table for discussion, I would seriously hope that it would be put on a ballot and put before the people of Des Moines, because they should be the ones that have that choice. And I also want to clarify, because this seems to be, I don't know. No, they don't get it. I don't know. But in any profession, you could be a teacher, a factory worker, a postal worker, a police officer. You're going to be off on paid leave because that is the union. That's union protection. The city council can't do anything and the police department can't do anything. It's union protections. When you have a job with a union.
Deborah Howell.
Deborah, you need to hit *6 to unmute yourself. There you go.
Hi, glad to get with you this time. I just want you all to know, if you happen to have been on Twitter and noticed that I've been called a white supremacist and racist, I want you to know that I am neither. What I'm hoping to do is I want everyone to get along. I want our city to be safe for everyone. In the inner city, in the north, south, east, and west. I'm just very curious if in order to do this, we have to take sides. Do I have to say I only represent the inner city, or I only represent the police department? I hope that's not the case. Also, what Brenda said is true. We don't know what Officer Briggs did, if it was illegal or it wasn't. That's what an investigation is for. Also, I think I do remember Scott saying last week that no one is turned away in the cold if they want a place to board. Some people don't want that. I think it'd be a good idea that we all make sure, if we see homeless people, that we let them know that they can be put up. Today, I listened to your work session of Cure Violence. I want to say I am 100% for this if there's investigations being done into making sure it touches the people that aren't being touched already. 300,000 to 500,000 is a great bargain if we can get it to do what we need it to do. They have set up a lot of great programs in the inner city. I've watched. I'm very proud of a lot of the stuff that they've done. We just all need to work together.
Monica Osarski. Monica, if you're on the phone, press *6. Let's move on to Peyton. Peyton Shoemaker, are you on? Looks like your mic's open, Peyton. Peyton? All right, maybe we can see if we can come back to her. Let's go to Jacob.
All right, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. This is Jacob Groby, use he, him pronouns. I'm a Des Moines resident. So we're almost a year into the pandemic, and I wanted to bring attention to a report that was published on February 12th by Axios, which found that even though the city has a lot of money to help people, it wasn't getting that money to people in need because of administrative failures by the city. The report found that over 500 families are on a waiting list to get rental assistance because the city isn't processing apps fast enough. So people are being barred from life-saving assistance because what looks like to be the city hasn't hired enough people to staff the program. So we've been getting on these council meetings every 2 weeks, since the pandemic started, holding you all accountable to do everything you could to help people in need during the worst pandemic and economic downturn of our lifetime. And yet we see reports like this. And I'm glad that the city looks to be stepping up to partner with a nonprofit, but handing off an essential service to a private entity isn't always the best strategy and often leads to corruption and services not being delivered. So I'm glad the city's taking action, but it's been far too long. It should have happened a long time ago. We shouldn't have gone to this point. And meanwhile, while this was happening, racist cops, abusive cops have been tormenting our houseless neighbors. During the polar vortex, mutual aid groups got 200 of our houseless neighbors in hotels. And while we're doing that, all you hear about and see is literally cops driving around camps, driving around the hotel, and harassing our neighbors over and over and over again. So the amount of money that we pay DMPD could easily house everyone who needs it, save a lot of money, and it would help people, and we wouldn't have to deal with this in the first place. So if the city is looking to address this issue, I recommend cutting and firing every racist cop, every abusive cop that we are protecting. We're sick and tired of it, and we need to defund DMPD. Thank you.
All right, let's go back. Is Peyton? Peyton, can you open up? There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
My name is Peyton Shoemaker, pronouns she, her. I would like to respond to a couple of things. First of all, the Minneapolis Police Department never defunded itself. Any ideas about that are coming from falsehoods. Seems like people are reading all the same articles that are untrue. And I also want to point out the fact that when we have speakers talking about wanting to do things in our community and in our city, we should be making sure that they live in our city, unlike some of the speakers today who definitely don't and aren't speaking about our city and our city's needs. So those are a couple things. I also want to point out the fact that the city needs an overhaul of how it deals with the land that is incorporated in the city of Des Moines. The urban revitalization plan needs an overhaul. The zoning plan needs an overhaul. There need to be protections in there for houseless people so they're not being criminalized by police. There need to be like a reassessment of funds. Funds need to be going towards housing projects instead of towards racist and abusive police departments who most of your budget is going to patrol, and these people are sitting at Evelyn K. Davis Park and watching Black kids play in splash pads. I just want to say all of that to show that like defunding the police is a reasonable thing because we're spending way too much money over there. And honestly, people come in here and say like, oh, I don't want to defund the police because I like them. Like, it's just not practical. There's more that we need to be looking at. And I'm going to yield the rest of my time.
All right. It doesn't look like we have any of our other speakers. So I think that brings us to the end. Could we have a motion to receive and file the comments made by our speakers?
Don't move.
It's been moved. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Hearing none. That brings us to the end of our council agenda. I want to thank everyone for attending. If anybody has any additional comments, please send it to the city via email to the city manager's office or the clerk's office, and see if we can get you some additional answers. So thank you very much for attending, and this meeting is